William checked his boarding pass for the third time, squinting at the faded digits on the crumpled paper. Gate for 7B. The massive airlock before him read 47B in glowing blue letters. He shrugged and stepped through the threshold, his worn duffel bag slung over one shoulder. The moment the inner door sealed behind him, William knew something was terribly wrong. The cargo hauler he'd signed on to was supposed to be a rust bucket freighter with minimal crew. This ship's interior gleamed with polished obsidian walls that seemed to pulse with inner heat. Crystalline panels lined the corridors, refracting light in impossible colors. The air itself tasted different, charged with electricity and something ancient. Hello? William called out, his voice echoing through the cavernous entrance bay. A low rumble answered him, vibrating through the deck plates and into his bones. Then she appeared. The dragon was magnificent and terrifying in equal measure. Her scales shimmered between deep crimson and molten gold, each one the size of William's hand. She moved with fluid grace despite her massive form, her serpentine neck curving as she lowered her head to examine the unexpected passenger. Amber eyes, slitted and ancient, fixed upon him with startling intelligence. "A human male," she said, her voice like distant thunder wrapped in silk. How unexpected! William's survival instincts screamed at him to run, but the airlock had already cycled shut. "I think there's been a mistake," he said, raising one hand. "I'm supposed to be on the freight hauler, Redemption's call. This is gate for 7B, right?" "For 7B? Yes, but this is the Emberborn, diplomatic vessel of the Draantine matriarchy." The dragon tilted her head, studying him with disconcerting intensity. "I am Captain Daisy Ashenwing, and you are trespassing on sovereign territory." "Daisy?" William couldn't help himself. The name seemed incongruous with the magnificent creature before him. Her eyes narrowed dangerously, smoke curling from her nostrils. "My mother had a fondness for human literature." "Do you mock me, little human?" No, sorry. It's a lovely name." William held up his hands placidly. "Look, this is clearly a mix-up. If you could just let me off at the next station. We are already underway." Daisy interrupted. "The next stop is 3 weeks away at the Covenant Nexus. You will remain aboard until then." William's shoulders slumped. 3 weeks trapped on a dragon ship. This was not how his fresh start was supposed to begin. The first week was surreal. The Emberborn's crew consisted of 7 female dragons, each more formidable than the last. They ranged from the massive Captain Daisy to the live communications officer, whose scales shifted like oil slicks. William was given small quarters near the engine room, the only space designed for humanoid proportions. What surprised him most was how fascinated the dragons were with him. He'd catch them watching as he performed simple tasks. When he helped recalibrate a sensor ray, using his smaller hands to reach into tight spaces, they gathered to observe. His ability to work in confined areas, to manipulate delicate electronics, to solve problems with human ingenuity. It all seemed to captivate them. "Your species is so adaptable," observed Silix, the ship's engineer, an emerald-scaled dragon who'd taken to following him around. "You use tools like extensions of your body. Remarkable." William was repairing a junction box in one of the access tunnels. A space far too small for any dragon to enter. You guys must have maintenance drones for this stuff, right? They malfunction regularly in deep space. Daisy's voice echoed from the tunnel entrance. The radiation interferes with their processors. We've managed, but... She paused. You've repaired 17 critical systems in 4 days, William. Systems we've been working around for months. He emerged from the tunnel, wiping grease from his hands. It's not that impressive, just basic electrical work. Basic for you, perhaps. Daisy's massive form blocked the corridor, but her posture had shifted from hostile to something else. Curious, almost protective. Tell me, what were you doing on that freight hauler? Running from something. William's jaw tightened. Running towards something. A fresh start. I was a maintenance tech on Arcturus Station until it was decommissioned. Jobs are hard to find for humans in this sector. You have skills we need, Daisy said carefully. The matriarchy values competence above all else. By the second week, William had become indispensable. He reorganized their supply storage using space-efficient human principles, modified their waste recycling system to increase efficiency by 40%, and even jury-rigged a solution to the persistent coolant leak in the starboard engine. The dragons treated him with increasing respect. And something else. They'd bring him elaborate meals, insisting he try their food. They'd adjust the ship's temperature controls to accommodate his preferences. Silix had even fabricated a custom workstation that fit his proportions perfectly. You have made yourself quite at home, Daisy observed one evening as William reviewed star charts in the navigation bay. Just trying to earn my passage. He glanced at her. We should be approaching the Covenant Nexus soon, right? Daisy's tail coiled around her body in what William had learned was a sign of agitation. Yes, about that, Captain. A younger dragon, barely older than a hatchling by their standards, poked her head into the bay. The diplomatic committee wants to speak with you. It's about the human. William's stomach dropped. What about me? Daisy sighed, smoke puffing from her nostrils. William, I need to be honest with you. When I reported your presence to the Matriarchy Council, they were intrigued. The Draantine have been searching for ways to maintain our older vessels and space stations. Our claws are magnificent for combat and ceremony, but terrible for delicate work. So they want to offer you a contract, formal employment with the Matriarchy, training other humans, establishing protocols, building a maintenance course. And if I refuse? Daisy's amber eyes met his. Then you're free to disembark at Covenant Nexus as promised. But, William, she moved closer, her enormous head lowering until they were nearly eye level. In the past 2 weeks, you've become part of this crew. We don't want you to leave. William looked around the navigation bay at the systems he'd repaired. The efficiency modifications he'd implemented, the home he'd unexpectedly built. He thought about the freight hauler he'd meant to board, the anonymous future that awaited him there. The contract, he said slowly. Does it come with reasonable accommodations? Fair pay? The Matriarchy is many things, but we are not unfair employers. Daisy's expression, as much as a dragon could express, seemed hopeful. You would be among the first of your kind to hold official rank in our fleet. William smiled. I think I boarded the right spaceship after all. Daisy's rumbling purr shook the deck plates. A sound of pure satisfaction. Welcome to the Draantine matriarchy, Engineer William. We have much work ahead of us. As the Emberborn sailed through the stars toward Covenant Nexus, we realized that sometimes the best destinations are the ones you never planned to reach. Sometimes wrong turns lead you exactly where you belong, even if that place is a spaceship full of dragons who refuse to let you go. And honestly, he wouldn't have it any other way.